My subject matter today is the belief systems of the right versus the left. When we say right, we're talking about the conservative Republicans, if you red state MAGA nation types. And the left, we're talking about the Democrats, the liberals, the progressive, and all that crowd. And I want to just briefly, without a scientific mandate, if you will, or validation, if you must, give a view of the belief system as I see it, and I think you might find it interesting. So sit tight for just a moment and, turn off all other distractions as I begin to pontificate here about how I see the world. Because what this analysis will do for us is help us to make a determination of how to protect ourselves against the onslaught of what's happening in the midst of the tribulation, which we'll get to in just a moment. Let me give you an idea of what I'm talking about. To mask or not to mask, right? That is, to wear a mask or not to wear a mask. Well, a number of validated statistics have demonstrated that 75% of Americans now have decided to wear a mask. 25% are hardcore, that they haven't worn a mask, they are going to wear a mask, and they're anti-mask. And so if you're looking at the ones that wear a mask, we can say for the most part, but not singularly, they are part of the left wing of our political and economic views of America. They're part of the Democrats, the liberals, the progressives, if you will. Now, to be sure, a large number of people that are mask wearers also come from the right. That is to say, the conservative, the right wingers, if you will, the MAGA nation, if you must, the Republicans. They come from that segment also. So you're getting about 15% of Republicans, conservatives, Fox News people, MAGA nation people, right wingers that wear masks, which makes up the 75%, leaving a 25% hardcore group of people that don't wear masks. So if you look at the statistics, rather, you will see, well, America's divided along the wearing of a mask along 75%. By the way, 75 to 25%. I may never stop wearing a mask. I just may never stop wearing one. And I got a real doozy for you, a real irony for you coming up next. And the next one is the vaccine, right? To vaccine or not to vaccine. Now, a large number of people are saying that the people keeping this kind of statistical data are saying that 75% of the American people believe. It's up from about 60% going back about 4 months ago when the vaccines were first introduced. From 60 to 75% of the American population now believe that are going to take the vaccine. 25% doesn't want it. So now you say, well, Pastor, it's the same thing. Is it the right, the left? It's a flipping of circumstances here. Let me explain to you what I mean by that. The people who are taking the vaccines initially, who were down with the vaccine taken immediately, were the left, the liberals, the Democrats, the progressives. The reason why their number did not reach as high as it should, because those who would normally be associated with the left rather, as Democrats or liberals or progressives, would be the Hamite people. That is, you call them black people, African American. That's not what they are, and you ought to be sued and taken off of Facebook for calling people black. That's fighting words. Next time you walk up and say, "You a black man." So you call me black. Who you calling black? I ain't black. Look at you guys black. That's fighting word. I'm going to sue you. I'm going to take you to court for calling me black. I ain't black. I ain't black. Don't call me black. And I ain't African either. Don't call me African. I ain't no black man. I ain't no African. I'm a Hamite. You ever call me that again, I'm going to sue you and your mama. Now, okay, all right. But they like to answer, these people. They love to answer to the black. They like to say, I'm the black man. They love to answer to that. Crazy, 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 crazy. Anyway, but they are a part of the group that will not take the vaccine, and rightly so, because there have been several experiments, the most notable of which was down in Tuskegee, Booker T. Washington School, where the Hamite man was injected with syphilis and other communicable sexual diseases, and it just ripped through his body. And who knows what would have been the progenitor, and who knows whether or not those vaccines that were put in men years ago, that whether or not those vaccines are still traceable in the DNA of Hamite people, and we're talking 75 years ago. And it very well may have changed the genome or the chromosome and it could be affecting anybody that presently is a Hamite or anybody who's had sexual intercourse with a Hamite. I'm not sure that those vaccines just go away. If they're there to protect you for year after year after year, I mean, the polio vaccine has been protecting people for 70 years now. That means that it protects that those syphilis vaccines are still in people's body. So for that reason, a lot of people are not taking this AstraZeneca and this Moderna and other Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson because they just don't trust it. And not so much that there might be some nefarious, if you will, evil intent. These drug companies don't know what those drugs will do and what will be the side effects 10 years down the road. They don't know. So they're not taking it. And then, of course, you got a part of the MAGA group that's not taking it either. So, but then the Hamite people who are not taking it, and the right-wingers, conservatives, Republicans, MAGA Nation people that are not taking, Fox News people not taking, make up 25%. So far, the tables have flipped. But you're still running 75 to 50% in terms of the polarization of America in terms of its belief systems, right? Are you following me so far? Good. All right, so the next item would be the polarization of Christians. I would love to find out what they're preaching in the Southern Baptist churches and the so-called evangelical churches these days, especially across the South. In as much as they went whole hog. Now, that's a Southern term that's been used by a whole lot of people. They went whole hog. The Southern Baptist Church went whole hog for Trump. They went all in for Trump. They're Christians, right? They said, he's our boy, God sent him. And deacons prayed, choirs sang songs, and preachers preached for years. The year then Trump was running and the first 2 or 3 years of his presidency, they went whole hog. The Southern Baptists, Japheth people, and they're generally Republicans, conservatives, if you will, Fox News, MAGA Nation people. I wonder what they're preaching now. Because that was not an enduring gospel. Now, on the other hand, you had the love Christians. Oh, yes, let me tell you about them. I wouldn't want to miss this opportunity. Love Christians. Now, the love Christians, well, oh, my God, they are the ones that, the LGBT crowd, the ones that love your neighbor, love everybody, love black people, love white people, love red people, love dead people, love everybody. Love is the answer. Love, 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 love. That's the love Christians. And they're generally the Democrats, if you will, the liberals, the progressives, the Hollywood types, right? And of course, mainly, if you will, the blacks and the African Americans. They're the love. Oh, love, 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 love. Oh, love your sister, love your brother, love your uncle, love everybody. Love, 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 love. So you got these, you got the rednecks, if you will, MAGA Nation Christians, right, who are worshipers of Trump. Then you got the love Christians. So, and that's what they're preaching. I've heard their churches, and they just, well, love is love. If a man loves another man, that's love. Anyway, but what we see going on now is, and also in another demographics, if you will, are looking at the belief systems in America today and how you can learn how to protect yourself, is that in nearly every major city in America today, you've got a black, or they call themselves black, now they're not, or African American. By the way, walk up to Keisha Lance Bottoms down in Atlanta, Georgia. Because they call themselves black. Say we're black, right? We're the black man. Or walk over there to Chicago to what's her name? That woman over there who's a mayor of Chicago, or the one that's Governor Whitmer over up there in Michigan. You got to fight on it because they're not black. They're not. Lori Lightfoot, that's the one in Chicago. Yeah, they're not black, but they call themselves black. You ever seen anything as crazy as that? I mean, you haven't seen anything. What about that mayor of San Francisco? She ain't black. No. But they said, we're black, or we're African American, right? No, they're Hamites, but they won't answer that because they're absolutely totality ignorance like you've never seen before. They won't answer to that Hamite, but you can call them black all day long. I remember black used to be fighting words. You call somebody black down there in North Carolina back in the 50s and 60s, that's fighting words. You call me black, who you talking to? But most of the major cities are now run by the house blacks. I can't call them the Negro because Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg and that boy on Google and over the boy over there on whoever Twitter, they might, ban me. So you can't say that word. And even though James Weldon Johnson, lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmony of liberty. Let our rejoice and rise. High as the lifting skies, let us march on till victory is won. Sing a song full of the hope that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the future has brought us. Facing the rising sun till our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. It's called the Negro National Anthem. But you can't say Negro no more. Can't say that no more. So please give me, if you will, literary, if you will, compromise here, Mr. Facebook people. I was just singing the song that has been the mainstay that got a whole lot of people over the hump. So don't ban me because I brought mention of the Negro National Anthem. However, these mayors and these black people in all these cities, in nearly every major city, you got these house black people, right? House African Americans now. That means that they work for the Japheth man. They're put there to keep everybody else in order. Right? And in most major cities. And the irony of this, of course, as in most rural red states, in small towns, they're run by Japheth mayors and Japheth sheriffs. I know the sheriff, they call me Mr. Tibbs. In the heat of the night, you didn't get that one, all right. So I understand, it's a little past your movie time. But, so look at the dichotomy of America. The major urban areas are run by the house blacks, and the major rural, smaller towns in red states and small states are run by the Japheth people, right? So we've got no doubt about it, we have got a major divide here in America in terms of our political beliefs. Now let me quickly go ahead and say also, Obama attacked the Bible and the church. He did it. They let that boy get away with attacking the Bible and the church. He didn't have to do that, but I guess he did, maybe did. He's a son of Satan, so yes. But he attacked the Bible. He said, our generals wouldn't know what to do with the Sermon on the Mount, he said. And what is this business about you can't eat shellfish? What is that? And what has this been about stoning your son? What is that? It's capital punishment, Obama, just in case you didn't know. But it's the same thing that Lincoln did when you were out there, when you made your speech and launched your campaign out in Illinois at Lincoln's site. That's what it was, but I guess you're too ignorant to know that. But so he laughed at it and then made fun of the church as well. And he assaulted, he attacked, and if you will, the progressive, the liberals, the Democrats, the African Americans and the blacks, Hollywood type, they said yes and amen. Obama restructured the church. Obama did more for the Hamite church and the liberal, progressive, Democrat Hollywood church than Martin Luther did for the Lutherans and the Catholic Church. Oh, yes, he did. That boy changed the church forever. Showed up there. Now, it was bad enough as it was. It wasn't anything to write home about. It wasn't anything that Jesus would pay. But he made it even worse. Perchance somebody's going to come along and correct it. Obama he sealed the deal. The church is going to be about what the devil wants it to be about. The Son of God may have started it, but the son of the devil is going to finish it. And that's what happened to the church. Go in one of these Hamite churches. Go in any of them. Go in any of them today. Oh, you go into the Pentecostal tongue talkers. Though I speak with the tongue of men and angels and have not love, it profit me nothing. And love is love. And so that's what you have going on now with Obama. And the biblical norms were all shattered by Obama. Now, you know, Jesus said the gates of hell shall not prevail against the church. And I'll explain that a little bit later on. But the churches are dying. They are. The Hamite churches, you can hardly get people to come to them anymore. You know, some of the mega churches are still carrying a fairly large crowd, but they're just there to get out of them hot houses in Houston. They don't want to be in that air conditioning and watch a movie at Joel Osteen. But they're not really, thank you, Mr. Engineer, they're not really there to worship. It's hot down there in Houston in the summertime and cold in the wintertime. So they go to church like they go to the shopping mall. Because you go to Joel Osteen's joint, man, that place is like a shopping mall. You can get in there, air-conditioned movies, nice music and sound and cushion, and nice bathrooms where they got perfume and all kinds of stuff. You go in the bathroom, you can douse yourself and powder yourself, and beautiful bathroom where you can sit and do number one or number two. Oh, let's go to Joel Osteen Church. And that's why they go. But it isn't because they're looking for Jesus. It isn't that at all. Oh, yeah, Mr. Engineer, the gates of hell, Jesus said the gates of hell shall not prevail against his church, but they are dying. They are. And the gates of hell have not, but the churches themselves, the church of the Lord Jesus Christ, I mean the true church, is still stalwart. The true church is rejecting both Obama and Trump. The true church is rejecting the traditions and the division. The true church of the Lord Jesus Christ is still a powerful instrument in the earth today. But not only are the churches dying, thank you, Mr. Engineer, the Hamite community is also dying. Hamite people aren't having babies anymore. They're not, they just, they don't, these women, these young girls, well, they were having pretty, but they were having how do they say that? Daddy's baby, mama's baby, something like that, a baby's mama, something. I don't know which way it is. But then after the whole expose of baby and run and rah-rah, they stopped that back in the 1980s and 90s. The Hamite woman just shut down her womb, said, I ain't producing no more babies. If I do get pregnant, I'm going to have, Dr. Hook take a look. And that's, So the community is dying. Populations are dying. And these Mexicans coming across the border, they're young, teenagers. Ever seen them? They don't even have mom and daddy with them. Teenage boys and teenage girls. And they're going to have babies. These young Mexicans going to have 5 and 6 children in 3 years rather. No. And the Hamites and the Japheth people trying to be cool and trying to be coy, ain't having no babies. And so you're going to see that's what our fight is all about. So childbirth is dying. One other thing, and then I promise not to inflict myself upon you any further. Trump was the most successful creator of spiritual war in American history. That boy. Let me ask you a question. Did anybody see Trump coming? Oh, I know, Lindsey Graham said the best way to make America great is to tell Trump to go to hell. I know he said that. And I know what Ted Cruz said about him. What he said, Ted Cruz said he was a liar and a con man and all of this stuff. But then did anybody see Trump coming? By that, I mean, that boy went off the chain. He didn't care nothing about the Constitution, what it said. And if the Attorney General didn't go along with breaking laws, violating laws left and right from the Constitution, he got rid of Jeff Sessions and got William Barr in there and just went to town. The hell with the law, the hell with Congress. We're going to do what we want to do. Did anybody see that coming? I mean, Trump walked over the Constitution like John walking in Jerusalem. It was something. I don't think it. Even I didn't see that coming. I saw it. I knew it was a lie, a comment, a slick was going to get away with it. But I never saw him just stand up and say, "The hell with the Constitution. I'm going to do what I want to do. The hell with the laws. They don't apply to me. They apply to you, but they don't apply to me and me and my troop." And he got a group of people around him that then became sycophants, worshiping him, allowing him to do all of that, actually causing a war, calling a group of his supporters to attack the Temple of Democracy and attacking the Capitol building. I mean, did anybody see that coming? Not only that, but the Baptist Church, Southern Baptist preachers, everybody, did anybody see that coming? Did anybody see Fox News coming? Well, they just gone off the chart, said the hell with normality, journalistic integrity. The people like what we're reporting, the people like what we're saying, and we're going to keep on saying it. Those laws with Walter Cronkite and Barbara Walters and all that other crowd are going out the window. We ain't doing that stupid stuff no more. We're going to do what we want to. And Fox News is jumping. Tucker Carlson, did anybody see that coming? It is amazing. Ann Coulter was about as popular as anything, and she stood steadfast, both feet on the ground, said, Trump is a lie and a con man, and I ain't going down this road. I'm a Republican, at least I was. Conservative, yes, I am. But Ann said, I'm not going down this road with this man who is as wild as a bull in a china shop is what he's doing to America, to racial relations, to the Constitution, to normality, to NATO, to the European Union, to our NATO friends, what he's doing globally, sucking up to Russia and Kim Jong-un. Did anybody see that coming? Talking about Kim Jong-un and I are in love. We've been writing love letters to one another. I swear, I can't, but it's like you went through a nightmare. Kim Jong-un was writing, "We are love." Oh, he sent me such a beautiful love letter. I said, damn. You can't make this stuff up. And the Southern Baptists and Sean Hannity and Rupert Murdoch and everybody saying, shovel it, keep shoveling it, keep shoveling it, keep shoveling it. And they just kept shoveling it. America will never be the same again. There's nobody in the history of the world who's done as much, has been successful as destroying America as Tribulation Trump. And so, then the other thing is that I have to ask y'all a question, because I can't ask Lindsey Graham. He's beyond asking. But tell me something now. Tell me something. And Ted Cruz and Mitch McConnell and Marco Rubio and a bunch of others as well, especially Ron Johnson boy running around there talking about white people aren't violent. Damn. Somebody wrote to me the other day when I raised that question, that white people aren't violent. Now they're Japheth, but they ain't white either. Walk over there and say, hey, whitey, you're going to have a fight on you. Walk up to somebody white and say, hey, whitey, you're going to have a fight on your hand. Anyway, somebody said to me the other day, they said, well, now, who's that? Ron Johnson said, what? White people aren't violent. He said, ask the Native Americans. By that I mean they're called the Indians, the Cherokee, the Sioux, all those tribal groups, right? So ask the Native Americans if white people are violent or not. They got an answer for you to be sure. But this guy Ron Johnson said no, these are law-abiding people. And if I hear somebody ever say again, our nation, especially from the Republican, conservative, Fox News, MAGA Nation, group, talking about we are peace-loving and this is our nation, as to say, hell, if you're not a part of that group, this ain't your nation. But no, I think that's appropriate question. Ask the Indians, ask the Chippewa, ask them Sioux, ask the Cherokee. Cherokee, are white people violent? Ask them and see what that kind of answer you get from antiquity. But my question is this, is that not only but stupid. how is it, can anybody, after Lindsey Graham said what he said, that Trump was a con man, a liar, and he ought to go to hell, then turn around and start licking Trump like he's a cone of vanilla ice cream. Can't praise him enough, can't go along with what he says. Even after Trump condemned and talked trash about Lindsey Graham's one-time life friend, John McCain, Trump trashed that boy like he was black. The way Trump talked about Lindsey Graham, you thought that boy had a black mama and a black daddy. I swear. I mean, Trump, you and Lindsey Graham and Trump and John McCain were tighter than a sailor's knot. And yet Lindsey let his best friend, who dead, by the way. Somebody said something to me. I was preaching something. Somebody walked up and said to me while I was preaching. I said, "Well, that ain't what your mama said." She said, "Boy, don't talk about my mama. My mama dead. My mama, don't talk about my mama. My mama dead." And John McCain is dead. And Lindsey Graham let John McCain be trampled on and walked on like he was a black man by Trump and wouldn't defend him. John McCain couldn't defend himself. And Lindsey Graham wouldn't defend his lifelong friend. How the hell can anybody in South Carolina or the Republican Party or Fox News, how the hell can you ever expect Lindsey Graham to defend you when he wouldn't defend his own friend? And Ted Cruz wouldn't defend his own mama or his own daddy, called Ted Cruz daddy the assassinator of John Kennedy, and said Ted Cruz's wife was ugly, and yet Ted Cruz didn't defend his wife nor his daddy. How the hell can anybody in Texas expect Ted Cruz to defend them when he won't defend his own damn wife? I never seen anything like that. I never seen anything like these Japheth people. Never seen anything like them. Never seen anything like them. These men won't even defend their own family member. But they'll defend Trump. And yet people went out and voted for him. Well, Texas and South Carolina. And they played John Johnson up there in Wisconsin. There's some sick stuff going on here in America. I can tell you that right now. But let me just wrap all this up by saying that this is just par for the course, nation against nation, kindred against kindred, brother against brother. What we see now, it would have been easy if you had been, let's say, in the early days of the abolitionist movement in America, that is to say, the abolishment of slavery when it first got launched in the 1850s, before Lincoln, while Lincoln wasn't even in office, there was the abolitionist movement. And the debate that Lincoln had, the Stephen Douglas Lincoln debate, where Lincoln actually said he tacit support of slavery, because an abolitionist asked him a question. But the rumblings of the Civil War were going to happen whether Lincoln was president or not. It was going to take place, and so the years leading up to the decades, 2 decades prior to the Civil War, we had the kind of thing you see going on in America right now. We had the division, the deep divisions in the nation, the churches dividing along political and social lines the way we have now with the progressives, the liberals, and the Democrats, and the Republicans, the conservatives, and the right-wingers. That went on, going on over 100 years ago. It led to the Civil War. We got something coming just like that in not too many days right here in America. It's going to be a whole lot worse than the Civil War. I'm actually planning on building my life here and continuing to reach out to areas where I don't believe I'm going to be able to travel. I don't believe I'm going to be able to travel in Wyoming in the future. I don't believe I'm going to be able to travel in Indiana or Ohio in the future. I think it would be very risky. I think it would be to drive through Indiana, Ohio, and Iowa, and Wyoming, and in the future would be like running through hell with a pair of gasoline underwear. Elizabeth and I, we were out west a couple of years ago, and we were in the state of Iowa, which is a pretty big state. Iowa and Nebraska is 2 major states to cross if you're driving. And we stopped at a little small gas station, not one of the major roadside events, And we didn't realize it took us deep into one of the little towns in Iowa before we could actually reach the gas station. We thought it was going to be right off the road, easy on, easy off. It wasn't that at all. And we ended up in a little town in Iowa. And so I went into the little store, and several Japheth men, most of them with truck hats on, the cat hat, and sitting there with suspenders on in the store. And I walked in, you got to pay the cashier, right? And they all looking at me. So one of them walked down and said, "Hey, boy, you from New York?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "You're a long way from home out here in Iowa." I said, "Yes." I said, "I just stopped to get a little gas." He said, "All right, okay now. New York, we don't see too many of y'all out here." I said, "Yeah, I know." I was trying to give Elizabeth a signal. Get everything you can. Get the gun, get the knife, get the kerosene, get the AIDS vial to pour on this man in case he goes crazy on me out here in the little Iowa town. I got in the car, filled that thing up with gas. I spit out there so fast, you would have thought I was launching a rocket to the moon to try to get back on Interstate 80. So I would caution everybody, over the next probably 3 years from now, there are going to be places where the people who belong to the various groups, the mass group, the no mass group. There's a fella in a laundry, someplace out there this week, and a guy came in, a Subway piece or a place like that, and he said, "Mister, you got to have on a mask, right?" This is the guy who's working at a counter. The guy who was told you got to wear a mask, you know what he did? Went back to his car, got his gun, came in and shot the guy behind the counter. Said, "Do I need a mask now?" I mean, this is sick as hell. This is sick, everybody. So I would think that you need to start planning your lives around being local when the war breaks out. And it's coming, trust me. Ain't nothing gonna stop it. Jesus said it's coming. By the way, if you won't blame somebody, don't blame Trump, don't blame Obama, blame Jesus. How about me? Well, you know me. I'm James Ebbett Manning, everybody. I'm the Lord's servant. Over the years, we have served more than 1 million meals to hungry bellies and hungry people here in the Harlem community. And I wanted you to be able to see that. I want you to see our involvement with youth, our summer youth programs, our courtyard being used as a place where children can be safe, guarded, and protected as they have their miniature swimming pools, and a safe place for children to eat that is guarded, that is protected by our own sense of security, and the wholesome and fresh meals that we serve. We wanted you to be able to see the mission of this church. And we've been doing this for years. Just recently, one of our members, more than a 30-year member of this church, but it hasn't, not one that, that you would probably find as members of some other churches with their nose stuck up in the air. But her father is now close to death or very sick in the state of South Carolina. And I said to her, well, because she doesn't have money, I said, we will buy you a bus ticket, a round trip bus or train ticket for you to travel to South Carolina to be with your father in this time of pandemic. There's very little funding around. There's sickness everywhere. And the thing that just blew me away was she said as she was talking to Elizabeth, she said, but how are you going to do that? To pay for me a round trip ticket to travel and give me expense money. And because Pastor Manning has to feed the children, he has to educate the children, he has to buy school supplies for them, he has to pick them up in the mornings and take them back, and then he's got the ministry he has to take care of, all the bills of running the church, of keeping a major house like our house operational, keep the lights on, how are you going to be able to do that? And she was almost reluctant to take the money because she felt that it would be better served by feeding the children. We gave it to her anyway. But we want you to know that we do a work in this community. There have been a lot of lies told on us. And it's almost unimaginable why some of the people that have lied on us Yes, but I can tell you behind all of it is the LGBTQ community. Hallelujah. They don't want us to be successful, but we are, and we're going to continue to be successful in serving the meals that we're serving and serving the people that we are. And the LGBTQ community will not take us down. They are not going to take our church. Yet they've defamed us. They've written ugly newspaper articles about us. They've marched against us. They've done a whole lot of ugly things. But you see what we have done, and that's not even the half of our service to children and to the needy in terms of our homeless shelters and the things that we've done over the years, and we will continue. And probably the lies and the smears and the ugly newspaper articles and the wicked spirits and the so-called I ain't for the black man, that is not going to go away. I don't expect it to go away. I don't. But I do tell you this, that we will succeed against all of that, for God is with us, and I am his servant.
My mother started liking the school and let me come here every single year. It has been 5 years, and now I'm in the 7th grade. I still love this school. It has taught me a lot of things about the world and all around it, and let me see things I've never seen before, like me participating in the history fair last year. I would like to give thanks to all my classmates for making me feel comfortable and at home here. Please, to all the new and old parents in the school, don't take your kids out of this school, because it will probably be the biggest mistake you've ever made. No matter what type of child you have, this school will shape it into a world leader. So do yourselves a favor. Oh my goodness. Okay. So do yourselves a favor and keep your kids here till they graduate, and it will change yours and your child's life. Peace and blessings.